While looking at the market like this, we would all have a question. What the hell is happening in the crypto market right now? That is going to be a clear cut thought process for most of us who have been following the market for like at least last 48 hours, right? We've been looking like, okay, the candles are not even moving. Bitcoin is like 2 to 3% up, down, and nothing else. But remember, we were talking about this possibility. We were talking about the bullish checkmate pattern, which may come to retest this range of previous support, turning into a new resistance. And right now, if you look at what the price action did on a zoomed in view, which is an hourly chart, it is clear that it came to that level. You retested that and got rejected. Is that really bullish? Is that completely bearish? What exactly is happening in the crypto market right now? If Bitcoin is actually leading the role, what do you think is happening? This is something which I think most of us should be aware of, because the price action does give you an idea of what's happening and how things may actually evolve. It is giving you a clear-cut idea of what's happening in the market right now, or at least what these millions of market participants who are actively doing stuffs with their assets are trying, right? Let it be XRP. We talked about this when we were here. But one thing which is a little bit of concern for anyone holding XRP is this. We have a bullish pattern, but is that going to be really valid for XRP? That's going to be an important question, because there are serious steps which we have to consider. We had a bullish pattern here in price action terms. What happened? Nothing. We got another one here. What happened? Nothing. We got another one here. Price did not move high. So the level of manipulation in this asset cannot be overstated, because the rate at which we are watching all these price action, at least the buyers coming in to push the price up and the price still not moving, that really does not make any sense. Because on the other side of this, when you go look at the macro, you do get a lot of ideas, because the way you compare this, it's clear. Now if you actually just remove those and look at this, you now have an idea of, yeah, we got a bullish candle followed by a bearish one, but the MACD suggests, no, I'm crossing to the upside, I'm going to turn bullish. So that is where the confusion arises. The market is trying to decide what's happening. But if you spend some time and identify this, you are like, okay, the market did show us last time that it is going to the upside with a bullish shaped candle. But again, it was followed by the exact same pattern which we are observing right now. What happened afterwards? The price dropped. And how much did it drop? 5.72% to the downside. So if we actually understand, the entire drop was like 13.57, and the last leg down was 5.72 at a time when crypto market started to take off. So are we at the verge where crypto is about to take off? That's what we are going to look for right now. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Right now, when we are looking at the crypto market, we do see there is a lot of things evolving, and we are actually trying to understand the price action. The way the candlestick shows us what it did in that particular day is like it is conveying you that this is what the market participants are trying to do, or at least that's what they intend to do. So right now, we just got the next candle open, and it is in green. So the important thing here to understand is, before that we talked about this scenario. Now there are different things you have to keep in mind. One, not every time when you get this price action you go up, meaning inverted hammers are bullish pattern, but when it happens at what? The support level. So right now you got that at a support level. Last time you got a hammer pattern. This time you got a small hammer, then an inverted hammer, which is really good thing to see considering Bitcoin may actually move up. So that can be the A, B, C leg correction, then going higher. Now, yeah, we do have to see whether the bulls are really strong or the sellers are getting exhausted or the bulls are really weighing in on the sellers. So this can be understood a little bit more clearly from the short-term price action. That is one of the reasons why we'll have to look at the short-term charts like this to see whether when we bounce, are we getting here and getting rejected, or are we getting into this range, which shows now buyers are equally strong. Sellers did trend to the downside, but they are now coming back up. If we break through this level, now that's certain that sellers are weak or buyers are way stronger than the sellers here. But the issue with XRP right now is, yes, the pattern is a bullish pattern, falling wedge is showing you that the price can go to the upside. And as we talk now, we are going to the support. We are actually coming back down to the support. We talked about the possibility that XRP may actually come back down to this level of support. And right now it is already having a wick to that side and slowly pushing the price to the downside. Now, the entire crypto market as an ecosystem is showing you some assets are moving, but majority are not. And there is a reason for that, right? We are looking at the macro market. We are looking at what these assets are priced in, which is dollar. Majority of the volume is coming from dollar denominated stable coins. So we cannot assume that when dollar is still here, it is going to pop. But as soon as dollar starts to drop, that's where we will observe the crypto market moving higher. Now, keep in mind, this is not happening in a day. This is a weekly chart. And the first bottom here was in 98 days. That means you need patience. That's 3 months. The next bottom, which the market put in for dollar, was in 238 days. That is not a short-term scenario we are talking about. We are literally talking about 3 to 8 months. Now, keep that in mind. Okay, some of these assets actually topped out by May, June, but few did that before, like Cardano, right? It actually popped up, it reached the top during this time, but then XRP, XLM, the other set, they moved up here. They were the laggers in terms of who moves the first, right? So if you are in various different correlated assets and you are still in red, now you have a hope. What is that? The price is about to move down for dollar. So assets priced in dollar is about to move up. Fine. The funds which are allocated into dollar, observing this confirmation to the downside, they're going to move into different assets. I'm not saying 100% will come into crypto, but some of it will definitely come into crypto. When you're getting rejected from here, that is an important range. Now, this is a weekly chart. So once you go into the short-term charts, you will actually see, okay, there is still a lot of possibility, right? The daily is showing you the MACD is about to cross to the downside, and the RSI has a long way to the downside. It's not here anyway close to the oversold territory. It do have some room. So the fall in dollar can be huge. So if you're waiting to convert your dollars, maybe now can be a good time. So that's just a consideration which you have to think about. Now on the fundamental side, nothing is stronger than ever. You can say it that way, because the case is being extended. Now, the way they actually give you the idea here is, yeah, that's fine. We are going to solve this case anytime. But I would actually think like, okay, the thought process here is, yeah, the Supreme Court actually had a recent ruling in which they actually gave this idea. But the primary thought process I would first go through is they already delayed this case for 2.5 years. So if that's true, it is true that we all know, how did they do that? They were just bleeding. As a governmental institution, SEC is not responsible. We all understand that. But their behavior till this point. So what makes us think they're going to act soon? Now, the next question is, okay, everything is brief. What we are waiting is for the judge to come out with something. And I'm like, okay, if the judge actually goes right now against them, there is like, okay, it's going to be a slap to the SEC. That's fine. It's going to actually put a new layer of information about the crypto market on which the crypto market will be building to the sky. Now, let me ask you something. Do you really think the status quo, the HSBCs, the big banks of the world, which are focused in US, JP Morgan, Citibank, all these giants, they may really not want these technologies to cut into their profits. For sure, that's how they earn a lot of money. So they don't want that to happen just now. That's one of the reasons why the CBDC project in the US is super slow. So if I'm right in that point, they may bleed us some more time. And that can be the only reason why Brad Garlinghouse recently highlighted we may get the ending result of this case this year. So that's like another 10 months. That's a long time period. You have the entire March till the 31st December. Initially, the idea was to see something positive by June, July. That's not there now. The doubt is there. The market is pushing a lot of uncertainties. But what people miss is there are positive things happening. Yes, not in the US for crypto market, for sure, I agree. But while you look at the world as the stage, and this from Team Ripple, we already knew like, okay, we were working with 40 central banks, but right now it's like, more than 20. So that's a bunch of central banks they are working with. But Bhutan, Palau, all of these are small central banks, and they themselves have highlighted this point, which is a key factor. We are focusing on smaller central banks who have higher friction for cross-border payments. The central bank swap lines, they pay normal remittance, the business to business, all these kind of money movements, which is across the border, they have trouble handling with these JP Morgans, the Citibanks, paying them, right? That's the reality of it. And now they are saying, okay, we are going to announce those soon, meaning we've announced projects with Bhutan and Palau and others to come. So that means, in my understanding, something is actually about to be announced, or maybe in next few months, or they are waiting for the SEC case to be solved. If that's the case, I'm like, okay, maybe we'll have to wait few more months to see what's happening. But if that happens tomorrow, don't hold me to this. This is just the thought process of someone who is holding XRP for a long process and observing the case and how things are evolving. Because on the other front, this is what we are literally observing. Nations, which are developing nations, which the West calls third world country, are leading here. Money flow, brain power, investors, all of them are moving towards this direction. US as a biggest country in terms of GDP should have been at the top level. The Google, the Amazon, the Microsoft, all of them are in US for a reason. And right now, the way it is going, we can actually see the big, gigantic businesses built on top of Web3 may not be in US because that's how the regulators are doing. Now, yes, we do have to also keep in mind that a lot of people see, okay, we are waiting for CPI. I understand. We're waiting for the Fed. Maybe they are going to do another 50% hike. All of this. And some say, okay, I don't really see a lot of inflation. Now, if you are in that category, you need to understand this. You're not observing things clearly. And if you are looking at that perfectly, this is visible. That's lower value for your money. They are reducing what you get. So on any side of this equation where they are putting, it's really something hard. But yes, on the positive side, I would actually say like, okay, if the Supreme Court has actually come out with a statement saying like, okay, if they have to screw you for something, they need to first clearly say this is not correct. You need to correct it. Agreed. But the question is, this is SEC which you're talking about. A judge have talked. Literally, the judge was tired of asking them to hand over the documents to Ripple, the Hinman documents, right? Did they do it the first time, the second, the third, the fourth? They literally had to go through 7 tries through a judicial system. Why is that? Because that's the SEC. That's how things work there. So that is one of the primary reason I would say, okay, if it's really based on what the SEC is about to do and how things are evolving there, I have hope. It's not like I'm losing hope because I know the fundamental of this asset and how this is going to play out in the next 3 to 5 years for sure. So no way you're going to kick me out. I'm holding, keep it out of the exchanges. That's it. You have time, you're going to hold. But the primary question again go back to like, okay, we are looking at a lot of different assets in the crypto market. Some of them are red, some of them are green. Things are happening here. But how exactly do we understand, what are we really observing? How can we take benefit of this, right? If dollar is about to drop lower, then that exactly means assets are going to go up. But it may not happen on the same time. It takes some time for investors to react. So keeping that in mind, when you come on to various different assets, if you want to go through one by one in different assets, you can do that. But look at this. It had that long wick to the downside, which it erased soon. Then what happened? Just after that, you are right now observing a bullish cross. So before the bullish cross, you actually got a correction in the market. The price dropped from close to 1.3 all the way down to 0.87. So that's a 30% drop in this asset. Fine. But it is still holding that trend line pattern. You look at that. It is clearly making a higher high, higher low bounce. Right? It's consolidating, making a higher high. It did not actually come back lower or break this previous low. So that still is a bullish narrative. Now that's on a daily chart. Once you step out, enter into a weekly chart and look at that. This is what exactly you observe. Now if you want proper clarity, the exchange view here may not be the best, but I would actually take you directly to the chart which we regularly watch and take that asset here, go on a daily and zoom in. So now you know what we are talking about. So as we go into a macro, which is a weekly, which we just talked about, there's a 2-candle reversal signal. If you're observing, if you're learning, then you already understood that this is a setup which shows you a continuation pattern based on candlesticks. The price action usually gives you the same idea. In one way, you can look at this like, okay, it took this 2 candle to push the price up. After which, it took 4 of the same candles to the downside to reach the bottom. So sellers were really weak. That is why you saw the bulls pushing it through. Got that? Fine. Now, drop the same equation here. This is what we are observing. You really got a couple of bearish candles, corrective candles, fine. But what exactly did that do to the price action based on what the bulls were doing? Nothing much, right? It did not even erase the previous candle, right? The bottom of that candle was still valid and intact. Yes, you did come down, you tested that level, but by the time that candle closed, it exactly happened to be a bullish candle. It went back up, closed above these level. Now, why am I saying closed above these level? Because that's really important for us in terms of the price action. This 3 candle was below this. So that range was broken. The next candle is open above that range. So now, yeah, it's not like you're going to the sky tomorrow. Basically, this is your previous support turned into a resistance. That zone of support resistance is still active. But you get the point. On the price action side of this, you are literally observing how things are evolving and what the market is showing you. Now, that's just one asset, right? You can literally go on to a lot of different assets in the market. You can pick whichever you want to look for and ask like, okay, am I watching something dropping like a stone? Or are you watching for something, which was trending up, now in a correction? That is going to be something worth asking. But one thing you need to keep clear idea about is if that's breaking back down this level of support. Now that's a lower high and a lower low. That's a corrective signal. Now, if you're looking at AGIX, you need to actually say the same. Okay, I do understand something when the market was not doing anything. This asset just did a 13-14x. So automatically in this market situation, we just talked about this, right? In this market situation, people need money. So they will definitely take profit. If you got 5x, if you got 3x, whatever, people would be taking profits because if you're basic knowledge with TA, you would already know that that's a resistance level we are dealing with, and slowing down there does not really look good. You may have a little bit of correction, but the trend does not show you're going down. The trend is like, okay, I'm still trending to the upside. There is nothing weird about that. But if you actually put in a moving average there, you would see like, okay, we are now weighing in on the moving average. We're trying to break the moving average. So if the moving average is taken out, what happens? Now it's only the trend line. Once the trend line is taken out, done. You're coming back to the previous level of support. So it's a 50% drop, yes, but considering where you just started the price action earlier this year, even at that point, you are close to 4 to 5x to the upside. So, it's just how you look at the market. It's just how you are really looking at different assets. If the short-term volatility is going to kick your emotions, now that's going to be really hard for you. If you can't see what we are discussing right now, this is going to give you a macro edge. And that is one of the reason why we go through all these assets on different time horizon, different pattern analysis, technical analysis in different various ideas, plotting technical trend, pattern, time series, combining all of this. Now you get to take a well-educated guess. And if you are really interested in things like that, I would suggest, okay, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. Only if you are really serious about learning technical analysis based on the real-time charts for a lot of these crypto assets. Most likely, you may get all of your crypto assets in your portfolio here. You just have to search and it's coming up. It's popping up there. Maybe a day back, maybe a week back, but you still get all of those. And if you want an update, we almost do ask for TA every now and then. So you get to ask which TA you want, and I do that chart and drop my opinion on that asset at that time. So if you are in that need, you're most welcome. Now guys, if you learned something from today's video and you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. That supports the channel a lot. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.